I never thought I'd be the guy posting something like this, but here I am because I honestly don't know what to do anymore. My name's Jake, and I was with my wife Emily for almost 5 years. We got engaged about 6 months ago, and I thought everything was perfect. She was, I'll admit, a little bitchy sometimes, always had a sharp comment or a snarky remark ready, but she was also funny and beautiful, and I genuinely thought I'd found the one. We planned everything for the wedding, booked the venue, picked out the rings. I was so excited, especially because I'd never felt this way about anyone before. I was ready to spend the rest of my life with her, and honestly, I thought she felt the same. We moved into a nice apartment, started talking about kids, the usual future plans. I was on cloud nine. Honestly, I was so happy, I even surprised her by proposing on her birthday. I thought it was perfect. She cried, said yes, and it felt like the happiest moment of my life. That night we celebrated, drank champagne, and talked about how everything was finally coming together. But then, things started to bother me. She'd be secretive about her phone. Not just normal privacy, I get that. To some extent, everyone has a right to keep certain things private. But she'd hide her messages, lock her screen when I was around, and sometimes I'd catch her lying about where she was or who she was with. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe she was just stressed, or maybe she was hiding something innocent. But then the signs got worse. She'd come home late, smell different, or just act weird when I asked her about her day. She'd change the subject, brush past my questions with a sharp tone. I started feeling like I was losing her, but I kept telling myself I was paranoid. Maybe I was overthinking it. One day I decided to check her phone just to see if she'd slipped up. I didn't plan to snoop. It was just a gut feeling that something was off. I had a spare moment, and I picked up her phone when she wasn't paying attention. I found messages, lots of messages, from a guy named Jason who I'd never heard of before, but they weren't just friendly. It was hot, flirty, full of innuendos. She was talking about how she loved the way he made her feel, how she couldn't wait to see him again, and that she was so ready for the sex. I couldn't believe it. My stomach dropped. My heart sank. I kept scrolling and found pictures, screenshots of their conversations, some of her in bed, half-dressed, with messages that made it clear they'd been screwing around for a while. I don't remember how long I stood there, staring at her phone. It felt like the world froze. I was angry, devastated, and feeling betrayed in a way I'd never imagined possible. I wanted to scream, to smash her phone, to do something, but I just stood there, numb. I didn't even know if I should confront her immediately or just walk away and process it first. But I knew one thing: I had just been blind, and now the truth was staring me right in the face. This wasn't a one-time mistake. She'd been lying to me for months, maybe longer. The worst part: she was pregnant. I found out the next day, a positive test she'd hidden in her closet. That was the sickening cherry on top. I felt like everything I believed in had shattered. I didn't sleep that night. Honestly, I couldn't. I kept staring at the messages, the pictures, trying to make sense of how I missed all the signs. How did I not see her slipping away from me? I kept replaying everything in my head. The little things I brushed off, her weird mood swings, the way she'd get defensive when I asked about her phone. It all made sense now, but it still didn't feel real. I kept asking myself, how could she do this to me? To us, especially now, right after I proposed. I mean, she had the nerve to lie through her teeth about everything, saying she was just tired, that Jason was just a coworker, that I was imagining things. She even had the audacity to call me paranoid and jealous when I confronted her about the messages, like I was crazy for suspecting she was screwing around. The next morning, I knew I had to talk to her. I waited until she got home from work, heart pounding, stomach tight. She looked normal at first, smiling, acting like nothing was wrong. Then I threw the phone on the table and showed her the messages. Her face immediately turned sour. She looked at me with that bitchy expression she always wore when she was annoyed, and she said, "Jake, what the hell is this? You're overreacting, it's nothing." I could see the lie in her eyes, but I also noticed her trying to maintain her cool, like she was used to dismissing things like this. I said, "It's not nothing. You've been lying to me for months. You're pregnant, Emily. How could you do this? How could you lie to me, cheat on me, and then get pregnant with another guy, kid?" Her eyes flashed with anger. "Oh, so now it's my fault. You're acting like I cheated on you yesterday. It's not like that, Jake. You don't understand. Jason's just a friend. We're not even close. I was going to tell you, I swear. I just didn't know how you'd react. And the pregnancy, look, I'm sorry. I was scared. I didn't mean for it to happen. It's not like I planned this. You think I wanted to cheat. You think I wanted this mess. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. How could she be so dismissive, so bitchy about everything? That was her typical defense, deny, deny, deny. She kept throwing words at me saying I was being paranoid, that I was overreacting, that I was jealous. But I wasn't jealous. I was heartbroken, angry, furious. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut over and over again. She sat there, acting like she was the victim, like I was the one who screwed everything up. Meanwhile, she's pregnant with another guy's kid and she's still lying about it. I wanted to scream, but I just clenched my fists and stared at her, feeling more lost than I had in my entire life. That day was the turning point. I knew I had to make a decision. I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay, not after finding out the truth. I felt so betrayed I couldn't even look at her the same way anymore. Every little thing she said, every excuse just made me more furious. The love I had for her, the future I imagined, I couldn't see it anymore. All I saw was a woman I thought I knew, cheating on me with my best friend, lying about a pregnancy, and dismissing my feelings like they didn't matter. I was so hurt, so angry, I didn't know how I was going to move forward. But I knew one thing: I couldn't stay with her, not like this. Not after everything. After that confrontation, I didn't even bother trying to get her to see reason. I just packed a bag and left. Didn't tell her where I was going, didn't say a word. I needed space, time to breathe, time to figure out what the hell just happened. For days, I stayed at a friend's place trying to process it all. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, those messages, her sneering denial. It was like my entire world had been turned upside down. I kept asking myself how she could do this, how she could carry that kid inside her and still lie to my face. I felt like I'd been hit by a freight train. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I had to get some clarity. I started digging into everything: texts, social media, her emails. I wanted to know how long she'd been lying, how deep this thing went. I found more messages with Jason, even some from other guys. She was clearly a serial liar, and that realization hurt almost more than the betrayal itself. She always had her bitchy attitude, throwing tantrums when things didn't go her way, but she also had this sneaky side I never saw coming. It's like she was a different person when she was with those guys. One night, I decided I'd had enough. I went back to the apartment, knowing I wouldn't get any peace until I confronted her again. I was angry but also sad. Deep down, I still loved her, or at least the woman I thought she was. But that love was dying fast. I called her. She answered, her tone sarcastic and bitchy as usual. "What do you want, Jake? Can't you leave me alone?" I told her I was coming home, that I needed to see her face to face because I wasn't going to be played for a fool anymore. She huffed and said, "Fine, but don't expect me to apologize or explain myself. I don't owe you that." When I walked in, she was sitting on the couch, face turned away like she was already over this. I looked at her, seeing the woman I once loved, now just a stranger. I told her I knew everything about the messages, the pregnancy, Jason. I said I felt like a damn fool for not seeing it sooner, but now I knew. Her bitchy smirk didn't fade. She crossed her arms and said, "You're overreacting. It's not like I love Jason or anything, it's just sex. It happens. You're making a big deal out of nothing." I couldn't believe how cold she sounded, like she was dismissing everything I felt, everything we had. I felt a surge of rage and heartbreak all at once. I told her I was done. Done with the lies, the cheating, the whole damn mess. I told her I deserved better than to be played like a fool, and that I was done pretending everything was okay. She rolled her eyes and spat, "Whatever, Jake. You're just overreacting because you're insecure. You always were." That was the moment I realized how deeply she didn't care. Not about me, not about what she'd done, just about saving her own ass. I left that night, knowing I had to get out for good. I couldn't keep living in that toxic, pretending world anymore. That night I sat alone in my new place, staring at the ceiling, feeling numb and furious all at once. I never thought I'd be in this situation, married, betrayed, with her pregnant by someone else. I was supposed to be planning a future with her, and instead I was planning how to rebuild my life without her. The pain was raw, but I knew I couldn't go back. Not after I saw the truth with my own eyes. I never expected to get played like this, to be so blindsided. But now I finally understood one thing. Some betrayals are so deep they break you, and I wasn't sure if I'd ever be the same again. Days turned into weeks and I stayed away from her, trying to figure out what to do next. I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal, the sting of knowing she lied to my face, played me for a fool, and now she was pregnant with my best friend's kid. Every time I thought about Jason, I felt a spike of rage. How could my best friend do this? How could she let him? It was like everything I trusted, her, him, even myself, had all been a lie. I'd been so naive, so damn trusting, and I paid for it. Honestly, I oscillated between pure anger and sadness. I'd sit in my new apartment, staring at the walls, replaying the moments I thought were happy, trying to understand how I'd been so blind. I kept asking myself how I missed all the signs, why I didn't see her slipping away. Every little thing suddenly looked suspicious. Her secret phone calls, her weird excuses, the way she'd avoid me when I asked questions. All added up now, but back then I just didn't want to believe it. That's what made it worse. The disbelief, the feeling that I'd been played for a fool. One day I decided to confront her again, but this time I was calmer. I knew I couldn't just blow up and scream at her, at least not right away. I needed facts, clarity. So I reached out, told her I was coming to get my stuff and talk face to face. When I walked into the apartment, she was sitting on the couch with her usual bitchy smirk. She looked annoyed, like I was bothering her. I threw the bag down and looked her in the eyes. I know about the messages, Emily. I saw everything. The texts, the pictures. I know you're pregnant by Jason. How long has this been going on? She rolled her eyes and scoffed. Oh, so now you're playing detective. It's not like I owe you an explanation. I told you it's just sex. We're not even serious. And the pregnancy? Yeah, I'm pregnant, but that doesn't mean I wanted it or planned it. I didn't cheat on you. I made a mistake, that's all. You're blowing this way out of proportion. Her tone was dismissive, sarcastic, like she didn't care about the damage she'd done. That's when I realized how much she hated being caught, how she loved to twist everything around to make herself look like the victim. I felt my blood boil. You lied from the start, Emily. You lied about everything, about where you were, who you were with, about the pregnancy. You always said you loved me, that I was the one. And now I find out you've been screwing Jason behind my back, probably for months. How the hell do you think I feel? How do you think I'm supposed to trust you after all this? She shrugged, looking annoyed. Look, Jake, I screwed up. Yeah, I fucked up, but I'm pregnant. That changes everything. I don't want to lose my kid over this. I want to fix things. Her voice was practically pleading, but I saw through her. I knew she was just trying to manipulate me, to make me feel guilty so I wouldn't leave. That's when I realized she didn't care about us, about me. She only cared about what she wanted, her kid, her excuses, her bitchy attitude. I stood there feeling like my world was crumbling. I'd loved her so much, and now I was face to face with the reality that she'd been lying to me, cheating on me, playing me for a fool. My heart ached so badly I thought I'd cry, but I knew I had to stay strong. I told her I was done, that I couldn't trust her anymore, that I was walking away for good. She kept whining, trying to guilt-trip me, calling me insecure and jealous. But I didn't care. I wasn't going to be that guy who stayed and got hurt even more. I had to leave for my own sanity. That night I drove away from the apartment, feeling empty but relieved in a way. I had finally faced the truth, and it hurt like hell, but I also knew I was better off without her lies. I didn't want to be with someone who could do this to me. I didn't want to be part of her twisted game anymore. I just wanted to get healthy, move on, and try to rebuild my life. The betrayal cut deep, but I promised myself I wouldn't let her destroy me. I'd learn from this, even if it took years. That's what hurts the most, knowing I trusted her and she threw it all away for Jason for her own selfish reasons. And the worst part, I don't think she even cares. The weeks that followed were some of the hardest in my life. I threw myself into work, trying to stay busy and not drown in the heartbreak. But every night when I was alone, the memories haunted me. Her laughter, her bitchy smirk, those messages, the way she lied so effortlessly. I kept asking myself how I missed all of it, how I was so blind to the woman. Thought I knew. The pain of betrayal was overwhelming, but what hurt even more was knowing she didn't seem to care about me or what I was going through. To her, I was just an obstacle she could push aside. I started reaching out to friends trying to get some perspective. Most of them told me to cut ties, to let her go and focus on myself. But part of me felt like I still needed closure, something, anything to end this nightmare. I decided to confront her one last time, not to get her to change her mind, but to hear her say it outright, that she didn't want me anymore, that she didn't care. I wanted to hear her admit that she'd lied, cheated, and was now carrying someone else's kid. I needed to hear her say she was done with us. When I saw her again, I wasn't surprised at how cold she looked. She greeted me with that same snarky attitude, like I was bothering her. I threw some papers on the table, screenshots of the messages, the pregnancy test, everything I'd gathered. I looked her straight in the eyes and said, "Tell me the truth now, Emily. Are you really pregnant with Jason's kid, or is this just another lie?" Her eyes flashed with that bitchy glare. "You really think I owe you anything after what you've done? I don't owe you explanations." "Yeah, I'm pregnant, so what? You're not the only one who gets to be hurt here. You think I enjoyed lying to you, that I wanted this to happen? Grow up, Jake." Her words stung, but I knew her so well by then. I knew she was just trying to push me away to protect herself. She didn't care about the pain she caused. She just wanted to keep her own lies intact. I felt hot tears forming, but I clenched my jaw. "You're a bitch, Emily. You lied to me, cheated on me, and now you're acting like I'm the bad guy. I loved you. I wanted a future with you. And you just threw it all away for Jason, for some stupid sex and a pregnancy you never planned. I don't know how you sleep at night." She scoffed and crossed her arms. "You think you're some kind of victim? Please. You're just mad because you got played. I don't care. If you hate me, I don't care if you want to forget I ever existed. The truth is I don't need you anymore. I've moved on, and I'm going to keep my kid whether you like it or not." That was it. Her words sliced through me like a knife. I felt my chest tight and my hands trembling. I wanted to scream, to break something, but I held it in. I looked at her, so bitchy, so cold, and realized I'd been wasting my time trying to save something that was already dead. I turned around and walked out, not because I didn't love her, but because I knew staying would only tear me apart more. That night, lying in that empty apartment, I finally allowed myself to feel everything. The pain, the anger, the betrayal. But somewhere deep inside, I knew I had to let go. I had to accept that she was gone, that I wouldn't get the closure I wanted, and that I had to move on for myself. It was brutal, but I promised myself I'd find a way to heal. That's what I learned. Some betrayals cut too deep, and the only way to survive is to accept the pain and keep moving forward, no matter how much it hurts. In the end, I realized that some wounds are so deep that they never fully heal, but life still goes on. I stopped waiting for her to come back, stopped hoping she'd change her mind or that Jason would suddenly disappear. I focused on myself, on rebuilding what I could from the wreckage she left behind. I started going to therapy, talking through everything, how I felt, what I thought I could have done differently, and how to finally let go of the betrayal that haunted me every day. It wasn't easy, and honestly, some nights I still wake up angry or heartbroken, but I keep telling myself that I deserve better than someone who lies, cheats, and dismisses my feelings like they're nothing. Looking back, I see how much I let her manipulate me, how I stayed so long believing her bullshit just because I loved her. Now I know trust is fragile, and once it's broken, it's almost impossible to repair. That experience changed me fundamentally. I don't think I'll ever trust blindly again, but I've learned to be more cautious, more aware of the signs I once ignored. If there's one thing I want others to take away from this mess, it's this: don't ignore the red flags. Don't dismiss your gut feelings, no matter how much you love someone or how perfect they seem at first. Because sometimes the biggest betrayals come from the people you trust the most, and they can destroy you if you're not careful. I don't regret leaving her. I don't regret seeing the truth and finally walking away. Because I know now that I deserve honesty, loyalty, and respect, things she never gave me. The child she's pregnant with. I hope she's happy with Jason, because I refuse to be part of that twisted, broken story anymore. I've learned that revenge isn't what matters. What matters is knowing your worth and walking away from the chaos when it's clear nothing will change. So yeah, I'm rebuilding my life from scratch. It's not easy, and I'll probably carry scars for a long time, but I'm stronger now. I've learned that sometimes betrayal is just a sign that you need to move on and find your real happiness elsewhere. And that's what I'm doing, moving forward one day at a time.